It has been a busy week since the release of our video, What Actually Happened in Asheville, a Hurricane Helene Story. First thing we wanted to say is thank you so much to everybody who has watched it, shared it, commented, sent a donation to the amazing people of Asheville and Western North Carolina. They need your help, and you guys have really brought an amazing support structure. We are just speechless.
Yeah, honestly, it's overwhelming, the outpouring of love, prayers, and donations that have gone, like Nathaniel said, to Asheville and beyond. And so that is the reason why we even shared the video in the first place. So it's really cool to see how it's spreading and just goodness is happening.
And we are here to bring you another story. 2 days after the release of our film, we received an email from Laura, and she informed us that she is the woman carrying her child being rescued out of the waters in our film. And so we set up a time to talk to her, and we sat down for an interview with her. So here it is.
First off, thank you so much for taking time to talk with us. I cannot even believe that the last time we saw you was on Friday. I just would love to hear just a little bit of like your account.
Yeah. I mean, it still feels very unreal to me. Just the whole trying to think about everything that's happened and telling the story is just still really bizarre. But yeah, so my husband and I have been married for forever, 13 years. And he's from Brevard, I'm from Fairview. And so we both grew up here, moved away, came back. We went to the same college, never saw each other. When we came back here is when we met each other, and all the love at first sight and all that kind of stuff. But we've been through a lot with our family since we got married, and this was just another occurrence, I feel like, along the way. That particular day, as I had previously shared with you, Jillian was just one horrible thing after another that just was like a horrible game of dominoes. So we had just came back from Disney World with our family the night before, so Thursday, and that was a whole other situation that caused a lot of stress and anxiety. But we came back, and that evening, my daughter, she had begged to go stay at her grandparents because she had missed her Yaya and Pop Pop, and I couldn't say no. And so she went to go stay the night with them. Friday morning, we woke up. Everything was fine. I mean, it just seemed like normal storming. And my husband went to work. My husband works for the sheriff's department. And he went to work. And it was probably within the first couple hours that he called me and said that he was going to be coming home, that they were told to get off the roads. Things were getting really bad and roads were shutting down. And the storm was starting to get close to reaching its peak. So thank God he came home when he did, because if he hadn't, most likely he would not have made it home. And I would have been at home with our kids alone, which I have 4 kids. Madison, my daughter, she, like I said, went to go stay at my in-laws, her Yaya and Pop Pop. But I had the other 3 with me, my 3 boys. And so my husband came home, and we had just came back from Disney. You know, we let all of our groceries go before we left and didn't have any food. You have like the stuff in the way back of your pantry that you're not sure if it's edible or not. But besides that, like I didn't have baby food or anything really to cook for breakfast. And so we thought we would just pop out down the road and just run and grab some baby food. My cat's going to join me. I'm so sorry.
That's
my cat, Karen. She's my best friend. So yeah, we popped down the road to a Sheetz gas station, which has not even been open but like a month. And I thought, well, surely like they'll have like a gallon or a half gallon of milk, like maybe just some of those little baby food containers just to get us through a day. And then tomorrow or the day after, I'll go to the real grocery store, because this isn't going to be like a real hurricane. It's just going to be another like big rainstorm. It's going to be fine. And within 20 minutes of me being inside of the Sheetz waiting in line, the entire parking lot was flooded, and we just barely made it out of the parking lot. And we have a 4-wheel drive vehicle, and that was with like my husband's very scary defensive driving, getting out of the Sheetz. And that I would have thought was going to be the end of it, but it wasn't. We drove around for 3 hours after that, trying to get back. And every road that we knew. And between the two of us, I mean, we're locals. Like, we know the back ways. And every road we tried was shut down from flooding or from live power lines, like exploding and being like flapping all over the road. Or there was trees down, and we were driving forever trying to get back to where we came from, which was from, as the crow flies, 5 minutes from where we started. I mean, across the road. And finally we got so far, it's starting to get dark. We're starting to get low on gas. And I have an 8-month-old baby that I'm like, we have to get back. Somehow we have to get back. So we turn around and go back down every road that we came on, like, and even had to make some detours because some of those roads were closed, and made it back to the Sheets. Except for it wasn't like the Sheets anymore. It was like a community pool, and a bunch of people losing their mind because they were going to be trapped on the bridge up above the Sheets because the 4-way intersection had about 6 foot of water in the middle of it. And that's when I think you saw us. My husband parked our car at the top of the bridge, and I, in my desperation, was like, I'm just going to go walk down to the end of the intersection, and maybe we could walk through the woods, or maybe there's like a path or something. I mean, there's got to be a way to get home. We live across the bridge. We live across the road. There's got to be a way. And I got down there and I just started like sobbing when I saw how bad it really was. I mean, there's like a big tire store across the road, and like all the tires were floating on this like river of the intersection, and the water was so disgusting. I mean, full of like cigarette butts and trash, and and oil and gas from the truck stop that was there. And I could tell it was really deep just looking at it. But then I saw a search and rescue guy walking across, swimming, walking, whatever, bouncing across. He had like all his gear on and a life jacket, and it was up to his neck. And that's when I was like, what are we going to do? We are toast. Like, there's no way around this. And the search and rescue guy made it across, and he even had like little paddles that he was using to like steady himself. And sorry, this is where I would get emotional, but he made it across, and I asked him, just while he was like, I guess, decompressing from coming across all that craziness, I just looked at him, and while I was standing there, I was like, do you have any words of wisdom, or is there anything that we can do to get home? I have my 3 boys in the car, and we live, like, there's got to be a way to get home. And because all these people that are parked on the bridge behind us are all saying that we're stuck, that we're going to be sleeping in our cars. We don't have any food. We don't have any water. We have very little gas left. And the guy asked me where I lived, and I told him right across the road, like up above the bridge. And I mean, 5 minutes. And he said, we'll take you, but I'm going to have to wait for help. And so over the next bit, we waited for another search and rescue person to come across. And then from there, they took turns walking my husband and I across with our family, with our kids, with our 3 boys. So they took my husband first, and my son Noah, he's 4. And so you see him in the video on my husband's shoulders crossing. And Noah is like all boy, so tough, but he also has very soft heart. And I was so worried he was just going to like be so scared to be left over there alone, because Ben, my husband, was going to have to come back across with me, or come back across to me, so I could carry the baby, and that he could carry our 8-year-old son who has Down syndrome, who has no idea what's going on or understanding like what is happening, and is like not a big fan of water. But thank God, I guess there was some firemen over there, and they were like trying to joke with him and like let him push horns and stuff to like get him to not be scared. And they came back across and got my husband and I and the baby and my oldest son Emmett and walked us across. And I just remember thinking, like, this is not happening. Like, I am not walking through this disgusting water with my babies, because I had a carrier in the back of our car. And so I strapped the carrier on me and put him in facing out and put the life jacket around me. And they zipped the life jacket up underneath his feet. And his feet were like kicking in this disgusting, dirty water while we're walking across. And I had on jeans that were like, I mean, it was not good crossing clothes because they were so heavy, but we made it across. And I just thought, like, thank you, God, we're safe. We've got across. Like, there's going to be rainbows and unicorns and everything's going to be awesome from here out, and it's going to be okay. So we got our life jackets off, and there was a person there that had like some sort of golf cart ATV thing. And I just walked up to her and I was like, hey, is there any way, I mean, like, I'm soaking wet, I'm covered in gas, like, here's all my family, like, could you give us a ride up the road? And unfortunately she said no, because she was trying to help the search and rescue people with something else that was like actually at that time an emergency. I totally understood, but I was just hoping, maybe out of luck, somebody could give us a ride. So instead, we walked the 5 miles back to our neighborhood with our 3 boys. And I just kept like, I was probably walking too fast. I was in the front, and I had to keep looking back to make sure my husband and my oldest son were behind us. But I was just determined, like, if we get to our neighborhood, we're safe, right? Like, that's my safe place. It's my home. And we got into our neighborhood, and one of the first intersections we came to was completely flooded. Like, another instance of 5 to 6 foot of water in the 4-way intersection. And that's when it hit me, like, our house could be flooded. But I still had hope. Like, that's not going to happen. Like, God protected our house. It's okay. We're going to get there. So we got to the next intersection that's right in front of our house. And right as we came up over the hill and saw the intersection flooded, I could see our house and the water right in front of it. And I just like lost it again. Like, our home is going to be gone. And I don't know what my husband was thinking. I don't know what any of us were thinking, but he wasn't going to go. He was like, just stop. Like, we can't get across. There's no way. It's too deep. It's getting dark. It's cold. And I knew our pets were in there. Like, I lost my mom at a really early age, and I had sentimental things for my mom in there. Like, I had to get into our house. And so we grabbed onto our neighbor's fence, their backyard fence, and used it to kind of pull ourselves along in the water while we were holding the kids. And we got out of the water and into the house. And at that time, the water was right at the lip of the door. And I just kept praying, like, God, like, let that be it. We can get new grass. We can get new cars. It's okay, but just keep our house safe. And my husband got inside, and he looked out the back door, and the water wasn't totally over our patio yet. It was about halfway up. And so he grabbed a piece of kids' like sidewalk chalk and drew a line and was like, okay, if it stops in the next couple of minutes, it's probably going to be fine. I mean, it was seconds and it was already over it. And that's when he looked at me. He was like, we got to go. We got to get out of here. It's coming in really, really fast. And I don't think I understood. And I think I just like went into complete shock, because I was like, what do I pack? Like, what do I take? I can't take anything because I could barely carry our kids. I can't leave them to come back and get more stuff. Like, what do we grab? So we had just, like I said, come back from Disney. I grabbed a carry-on suitcase and threw clothes into it as fast as I could. And like, I tried to grab my kids' favorite loveys, like their stuffed animals that they love the most, and throw them in there. And I grabbed our cat and threw her into a carrier. And then I was like, well, what are we going to do about our dogs? My husband is a canine officer, and we have a retired canine that lives with us. That's like his best friend. And then we have a personal dog that we've had the entire time we've been together. So we decided that we were all going to go back through the water to the other side where there was enough of a crest on the road to stand. And then he was going to come back and get the dogs. So we did the whole thing over again, went back through the water. I'm like holding the baby, holding the cat carrier on my shoulder, like trying to get across the water. We get out, and there's people starting to start to stand around where we got out. I guess surveying the damage. I don't know. Like, in my head, I was ready to yell at them. Like, how dare you watch this and not even offer to help us? But then immediately, like, as soon as we got out of the water, they were like, oh my God, are you okay? What can we do to help you? And these 2 guys, I don't even know them. I couldn't pick them out of a lineup now, but they ended up going back in with my husband while I stayed with the kids to save our dogs. So they ended up going swimming across, and then the dogs swam back across with them. And I think when I saw my husband come across with the dogs is when everything gets really, really like kind of hazy for me. I don't know if I just shut down. I don't know. But like, I know that we had friends that started coming down the road. Everyone was walking everywhere. Somebody picked us up on a golf cart and took us to our friend's house who, we hadn't had cell service. We had no idea if our friends would even be there or if they had had any damage, but thank God they were up higher in the neighborhood, and we showed up, and I just like collapsed into my friend's arms and was like, our house is gone. Can we please stay here? We have nowhere to go. I don't know if my daughter's okay because we don't have any cell signal. Like, I don't know what's going on, but can we please stay here? And of course they let us in, and they were in complete shock too, because they were in the part of the neighborhood that looks like everything is normal. Like, it's so surreal in our neighborhood right now, because you come in one entrance and everything's normal, and then you come in a different entrance and it looks like The Walking Dead. I mean, there's just stuff everywhere, and sadness, and just so much destruction. It's wild.
Right.
Oh my God.
Sorry, that's a lot.
No. Thank you. Like, I literally can't even like imagine like what was going through your head, and like hearing you recount everything. It's just so emotional, because like you just think, this poor family, like the things that you saw, the things you went through, like this is your home, and hearing you recount all the details. And I even know what you went through before you got back to North Carolina. When you mentioned the Disney trip, there you all got separated on your flights. It was a complete chaotic disaster. So knowing the depth of that leading into this, like, it was literally, it's so overwhelming. I mean, you're so strong to like, oh man, have like held it together, and obviously, just protect your family. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I mean, that's all I can think of is just trying to, that's all I feel like that can get me through that event. All of those parts of the event was just, I just went into, I guess, like survival mode. I don't think I was truly like thinking things through. I was just, we were going to survive, and I was going to get my kids to safety no matter what I had to do. If I had to swim across that intersection by myself without search and rescue, I was going to do it. Like, that's not probably smart, but I was determined.
Yeah. And I think, the moment that I relate with what you're saying a lot is, that when these crises happen, you do the best that you can with the information that you have, and you try to be safe. You try to be, move in the best direction that you think is the safest direction, using almost human instinct, because like you said, there was no technology, there was no power, there was no running water. And so we were all just kind of operating with instincts. And I think one of the questions that I had is, how in that moment, what was it like to be in the moment, understanding what was happening, but trying to rely on your senses as a way of survival in this crisis? So, we never, at least from our perspective, we had no idea that Asheville or this part of the country was even prone to this type of flooding. And I think that's part of what made it so scary, was that you're confronted with a reality that I don't even think we even thought could exist. Was that something that you kind of felt? Did you feel like this is almost so surreal because you didn't even imagine that this type of flooding could happen in a city like Asheville, that a hurricane could hit a place like this?
Oh, I hate to admit, but I'm a recovering glass half empty type person. And I served briefly in the Army. My husband is in the sheriff's department, and we're not probably the most positive thinking people all the time, as we wish that we were. We try to be, but I feel like a lot of times reality is just smack in the face. And we're both, I feel like we've both been through significant training to help us think on a critical level and to really thrive under stress. It's not how I want to live. And I mean, it's tough, but I feel like it's what has gotten us through a lot of scenarios where we just have to go into defense mode and just make the best decisions that we can. I mean, I was telling Jillian when we talked previously that I don't even know how my husband knew, because I feel like maybe it is common knowledge, but he knew that the day after the day after Friday to Saturday, he knew that we needed to get back to the house some way. And if the water was starting to recede, start ripping up the floor immediately. We had hardwood floors in our house, and it's on a concrete slab. And some way, somehow he knew that was like imperative. He said, the clock is ticking. We have to, as soon as the water starts to recede, we have to start ripping the floor up, because if the concrete can dry, it won't be as damaging to the house. We'll be able to cut the drywall out to where the waters were at and start to dry the house. And then we can potentially save it. If it keeps filling up with water and we can't get the floor ripped out, we can't get the drywall cut out like immediately, then the house will be gone. It'll be infested with mold, and we won't be able to fix it, or there won't be any saving our house. And this whole time, we also have this looming horrible sense of doom coming, because we know we don't have flood insurance. We live in a place in North Carolina that has never seen anything like this, and it's not even remotely something that we had considered. Our neighbor, we found out later, days after all this happened, that she had actually asked about flood insurance when they bought their home, and they were told they couldn't get it because they didn't need it, or something to that effect. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, like, one, this is my home, this is my heart, my family has been here. And then the other hand, I'm thinking, like, we're gonna be homeless because we can't afford to fix the house alone, and we're not gonna get any help from insurance. So I just was determined to save the house. It goes back to that, like, we're operating. This next step has to be done. All we can do is take the next step.
And so when you guys went back into the house, was anyone there other than you and your husband helping, or was it just you two, just like getting in and taking the floor out and figuring out how to move forward?
Yeah. So the first day, Saturday, it was just my husband and I. We both went in there. We took the baby shepherd. He's 8 months, and we took Noah with us. And left Emmett with our friends, because we knew it would be harder for him to deal with the situation. And we just started ripping up the floors as fast as we could. So I was ripping them up and piling them, and then the boy Noah was helping his dad carry the pile of flooring out to the front yard. And we knew that several of the houses around us had been severely impacted, but those people had already evacuated. We were the only people who were back. Like, we didn't know where anybody was, or if they were coming back, when they were coming back. And like, our neighbors to the left of us, for example, they got it so much worse. Like, I think they were saying that the water was like 4 or 5 feet high in certain places of their house. And we were trying to figure out, like, could we get into their house and open the windows somehow, or open the doors or something to let some of this water out and to start drying. But yeah, the first day it was just us. And then the second day I think it was just us. And then our friend's son came and helped for a little bit, rip up the rest of the floors. And then the following day is when I feel like the dust started to sort of settle, and we started to see people returning to their homes. And that's when we started to really see our community rally around us, and these people that we don't really know well, like some people, that we wave at and say, hey, when we're going to do drop off, or see people walking their dogs, like, these people just showed up and were like, what can I do? What do you need from us? Like, I have these tools, I have this tool. We have people from our church group that were just showing up at our house because they knew that our neighborhood had been severely impacted. And that's when just all the hands started doing the work, and they started cutting all the drywall out and ripping cabinets out and trim and doors. I mean, I feel like my brain hasn't fully processed all of it yet because it's just so much, but there were just so many people playing such an important part. And I wish I could remember all their names and all their faces. And I wish I could thank every single one of them, because I know I didn't say thank you enough at the time, but like even like a neighbor stopped by and like dropped off peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, like stuff like that really obviously hit me so hard, because like just because you can't do a huge thing doesn't mean you can't do a small thing, and small things matter so much at a time like this.
So beautiful. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, and one of the things I also wanted to say too and ask is that we wanted to talk to you today to help you in any way that we can. Obviously, we're not in the same town, and we were just passing through Asheville. And I think a lot of people who've seen the film are also thinking, what are ways that we can help? How can we help? And I wanted to ask you specifically, how can we help you through this time?
Well, first and foremost, prayers, all the prayers. That's like the first thing I'm asking anybody for, is just to pray for our family and our community and those who have not gotten help yet and those who can't get help. And there's so much destruction here, and we didn't even see half of what some people saw. I mean, we're still hearing these stories of just heartbreaking stories of people that don't have any food and water still. People who are there's a place down the road from us that they had their entire bridge wiped out where they couldn't get across to get to like the main area to get food. Like their whole side of the mountain they live on, they were cut off. I've heard stories in law enforcement recently about people's bodies floating down the river, and they're trying to rescue people and they couldn't even get to them. Like there's just so much heartache. But yeah, pray. That's definitely the biggest thing. And outside of that, I mean, we have had so much help destructing our house. I hate to even use like such a negative word, but getting all of the sickness out of it. I mean, our sewer system completely overflowed on top of the flood. So anything that was in the water was contaminated and had to be thrown out. So all of our furniture, all of our clothes, most of our kids' toys, like most of our clothes and shoes and bedding, all that stuff is gone. But we've been so blessed. We've had so many people reach out and donate kids' clothes to us. We've had I had a friend that showed up and gave us like her collector's Barbie, like Disney Barbies for my daughter. That she still I haven't given her to her yet because she's gonna freak out, and I want to video her reaction. But we've been so blessed with stuff like that. So right now we're at the point of where we've got to rebuild. We are very fortunate that we have somewhere to live. A lot of people don't have that. We're able to stay with my in-laws. They have room for us and power and water. So we're here for the foreseeable future. It's a little cramped, but we're making it work. But outside of that, we've got to start rebuilding. And, we have reached out to FEMA for assistance, and we've gotten a little bit of support from them. But unfortunately, what it's going to take to fix our home is a lot more than that. And so a good friend of ours from my church actually set up a GoFundMe. And it's been so incredible, especially today, to see like all these donations from people. I have no idea who they are. And it really touches my heart that people care and that people want to hear this kind of stuff and they want to know like the truth, because I don't feel like the truth is really being told super well out there about all of what's happening here. And yeah, that, I would be blessed if people would, if you can't give, pray over it, share our GoFundMe, share others' GoFundMes. Like, we don't have a lot to give, but we're trying to give to others around us as well that were impacted, because every little bit counts. And again, just because you can't do a big thing doesn't mean you don't do a little thing.
Yeah.
Laura, it's like, oh man, I have full body chills. We are praying for you and your family, and we will encourage every single person from all corners of the world to pray for your family, to pray for the community there and beyond. The people who are left in the wake of Hurricane Helene, it's catastrophic. So we'll also be putting your GoFundMe link up so people can see it and they can donate. And I cannot wait for the day where I can see you in person and give you and your family a real life hug. But for now, both of us, we're giving you and your family a massive embrace, a soul hug, and we're advocating for you and your family and for all the families left in this horrific wake.
And the last thing I want, we'll let you close it out. The thing that is obviously we're looking at now is things still happening. We're entering into a really dangerous hurricane season, and you've experienced something that, we're praying for you. And it's just the most, it's so hard to hear the story, to hear what you've gone through. What would you tell other people from this experience? What would be the one thing you'd want to leave them with? And we'll let you close it.
I just think it's so important for people to think about what really matters and to truly hold tight to that, because stuff is stuff. I mean, we can get new clothes, we can get new bedding, we can get new grass, we can get a new car, but we're all together. And in the 2 days that I went without knowing if my daughter was okay, which I share with Jillian, like, my daughter has had her own story and has some extra special needs and medical needs. Going 2 days and not knowing if she was okay, if she had her medication, if they were safe, was 2 of the worst days of my life. And the way I felt when I hugged her, I mean, was just completely the best feeling ever, to know that she was safe. And I just encourage people to be grateful for what they have. And just because you don't have all the things you want doesn't mean you can't feel complete. God is what completes us, and He gives us His love. And I just think it's so important for us to treasure every moment we can with each other, even when they're hard moments.
Thank you so much. I just love you all already so much. And I'm really grateful to God that your cousin watched our short film on YouTube and sent it to you, and that you listened to your intuition or your guardian angel or whatever led you to DM us on Instagram, and so that we could connect. And we will look forward to this relationship for a long, long time. I can't wait till the day that we actually get to, like I said, give you all big hugs in person. And until then, we'll be praying for you. Please stay safe. And we're sending all of our love and light your way. And we'll continue sharing your GoFundMe with everybody on our channel and just telling everybody about your incredible family. And we'll be just holding you so dear to our hearts.
Thank you guys so much. You should be honored, though. You were my first DM. I've never DM'd anybody. I didn't even know how. So I was pretty proud of myself.
I'm proud of you, and we are so honored.
Yeah. For sure.
Wonderful.
Thank you guys so much. I feel so blessed and so lucky that you guys read my message and responded, and that we're talking, and I'm just so thankful. So thank you.
Of course, it's our joy and honor. So sending so much love, and we will be in touch.
Blessings and
Thank you.